Please go to page number 10. On page number 10, we will begin the recitations by saying refuge and the generating bodhicitta, and also mandala offering. So on page number 10, each verse we will chant 2 times in Tibetan, and afterward we'll say in English. The English version, I will let you the numbers. Anyon la ne war je sa je wo je ju shan ne do dam le ra le je ye de jan bo de san ye jan do me de bo wa yin Dogen nanda shen la chobar sho ye na guru rana me da kame yada ya me. In English, on page number 11, I take refuge in the Guru, I take refuge in the Buddha, I take refuge in the Dharma, I take refuge in the Sangha. From now until my enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and by the merit created in this practice, may I attain the state of Buddha. Sentient beings enjoy happiness and concepts. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and suffering. May all sentient beings never be separated from joyful bliss. May all sentient beings find equanimity, feel bias, attachment, and anger. This ground, anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, Mount Meru, encircled by the four continents, surmounted by the sun and the moon, I visualize this Buddha field and offer it. May all living beings enjoy the pure light. Nam Guru Rana Mera Kami Yadaya. Yeah. Last week we chanted foundation prayer in English. Today we will chant in Tibetan on page number 15. Sorry, page number 14. Yeah. So shen den pa nan ji za le bar dong ni fo ba du ma yi gu wa chen den bar chen jen lo je nya me da vi den san xian de nie ka dong jian xi zhen nian zhe gong du nian wu len bi lu yin zhe me bar jie wer jian Ten so yo wa chu yi chu wer xin yu de jie bi che wa den ba dong qi ri jie su du dan zhe ma xin karma len je zhen dang wa na nye wa den bo nye nye vi su zha shang zhang wa nan jiang fang wa dang Gen zong da na zhu ber xie ba na dan du wan tong den ber qian jie lo Good morning and Tashi Delik to all of you.
다 같은 걸 줬대. 일단 난 영어도 샨도 교라디 돈도 참아 갖고나 섬내 가서 같은 거 되는 거 저기. 일단 남롱 모르는 거네. 솔까 좋아들으세요.
So we have been discussing about the Lamrim prayer, and I thought it is very important since we've been chanting this occasionally during our recitations, prayers, and so forth. So I thought it would be good to not only just chanting or reciting this prayer, but understand the essence, the meaning of each words. So if you go to the page number 82, we are on the fourth verses.
적당히 볼라. 단 카피어 그러나. 돈 측의 정보 칸이 교를 돈 정보 선라 전전. 네 되지네 소소리 로로 진행되는 데데 측의 정보도 봐 로로는 배워 볼때 선나 로로 치교네 교교 기도는 그 바상로 당에 그나다 리슴 링거 있으면 탐 지속절라 로트기요레스 되자 안에 그 같이 한번 상담을 했어요. 측의 좀 라년 버진을 주고 말했을 때 돈도를 바상로 당 로트와이나 요금다 남준도
We have saying in Tibet that when we kind of engage any kind of practice, the first of all, the two importance we have to achieve. That is by saying the melody or the sweet or the positive the word from the mouth, and meanwhile contemplate on those subjects or the words that we express. So therefore, of course, doing any kinds of engagements, of course, we physically sitting nicely on the cushions, cross-leg, but make sure that not only just outwardly or the physical we're sitting nicely, but also the most important is the mentally we're able to observe the tame our very the mind. So that's why, as I was saying, that we have saying in Tibetan that say the sweet or the positive word from the mouth, and meanwhile, and also have a great contemplations on those subjects. So if we achieve these two things, of course, the first, the adopting the right physical, and then the next is the adopting the right thought, and in that way, we can able to go toward the positive directions, meaning that whole our body, speech, and mind will be able to go toward the good directions.
볼래나 다 돈바트는 카시페 yang 강니 솔로 진든 동거는 정말 동분 특별까지 가고 있다. 수도 동다 yang 때 고마운 때네 배 통찰니 그들이지. 요것도 나타다 상으로 때문에 지나 때들이 말શે. 그 영도 솔로 돈돈 냠데 삼로 동시에 뒤바로도 조금 지고 로
So when I was young in Tibet, um, I heard that senior practitioners they chant
뭔말
the
손
especially in the assembly hall, when the monks when they chant the prayers, they usually say it very slowly. And of course, I was young, and I wish that maybe why not we just say it quickly, so in a way we can finish this prayers, because I was very tired and in the hall, and also feel a little bit sleepy. So, but later I realized that there's the tremendous benefits behind this. Why we, as a practitioner, chant slowly. So not only just kind of chanting that prayers slowly, but the simultaneously one could able to contemplate the very meaning of these words. So it's kind of like one of the part of the meditations.
다 같은 그 담바른 조금 많게 봐. 약간 양벌 그 쇼때 양주 전부 야로 줘 봐. 반대도 사우스 버션 was teach 동도 싶어.
Mhm. So we left the last class. So let's go to the page number 82, second verse. May the precious Dharma spread where it is needed and flourish where it exists. That by my effort, this treasure of happiness and aid can sustain all beings.
단 가정에 있는 시 담바른 신 조금 맞죠. 담바서야 돼. 롱동 토비 담치 남이 돼. 롱 롱그 치트 성지 시안이 마 송장 나가고. 나가서 소정제 되듯이. 토비 담치 똑바세 성지기라 통적을 공부 연된들. 알아서 성지기라 통 연된들 파 성지기 조속 조다텔라 때는 알아서 소소랑 아니 그들라 냐 톱도 왔다 연된 소소랑 인 성지 공부 토 돈돈 연거 시글라텔라 담바세 가르 담바르 그런 성지랑 연된들 파 시안이 파 던져 등 알아서 때텔라 좀 런친 촉게지 담바는 뭐지 자다 어쨌든 공부 쳐도 어쨌든 나 공부 공연 받대 아니 사천부터를 못 쓰고 되잖아 성지 담바때 런부치기 나오는 런부치기 초도 들어왔다고 그래서 대자때 다때 소네 타바체 먹었는데 샴동양질라 속았다 싶고 대자때 마치비 길때라 정말 캬버지 조르지 캬버지와 답시던 그래서 그때 캬버 선비 또는 냠송어이나 냠바다 살소네 지고래서 쇼텔라 삽쇼텔라 아니 데 제고 염증 가르즈 양지 신부 야로 줘봐 됐다.
Mm. So when we read this verse, and this, as I mentioned, the last class, and there are two dharma, or the doctrine, or the teachings, and one is the statements, and one is the realizations of the doctrine, of the teachings, and the statements, of course, the lung, or the teaching that taught by a Buddha himself, and then the second is the realizations, and so these are the dharma that what is mentioned here, and the so when we able to the observe that, or the obtain that very teachings, and able to gain and attend or gain this teaching in your mind stream, so that is we call the tempa, or the dharma, And also here also talk about the precious teaching or the dharma, and that very teachings. Of course, there are many precious objects and things in the world, but this dharma is considered as the rare as well as the precious jewel or the precious the objects. And what is the intentions was by the engaging the real dharma, which is the realization which the Buddha gained, and to once we have that, what we do is the spread or the share that knowledge where it is needed, and and also flourish where it declined. And this is what we understand and what we're supposed to do.
진짜다 그 아니 성지 담바 지르고 지 조네 성질로 또 받죠 조네 된종고네 된 담바다 하정 또 받잔 당만 다버리지 또 받죠 된종 동화도 된종도 그 쉬어지
And when the Master Tsongkhapa, he always expressed the great admirations toward the Buddha, and always press toward the Buddha, because the Buddha teachings, the teaching of the dependent originations, as well as the emptiness. So these teachings are the extraordinary teaching, and considered as a precious jewel.
그러니까 냥지 전부 야르 줘봐기 반디티티 서울시불 쇼고 냥지 세트 냥지 세트 고든도 땅서 부야 침고를 근데 냥지 세트 고도 때랑 아랑 소무 섭진로 셰트 또 냥지 세트 돈 내가 아바 인시
And the compassions. So today, the subject, the most importance, the foremost importance in this subject is the compassions, and so I would like to discuss and talk about the compassions.
어때 자다 경험도 망도 소소부지 길라 롱도고 치강시 하고 와데 파 절라 페퍼 시지도 간다지 페퍼르는 냥지 치복근데 망도 냥지 치복근데 노조 등을 잔도지 때 강아지 요나 등을 잔나 서비 삼록근데 나네네 말길 메워 소소 여러 쪽 봐요 소소 치당 담바지니 판동원에서 삼발학선 남 닦으지네 다 베고레스 때 빼나 가르 판도여서 판바당 대화하지 파쇼들 판도 연구래 판동원에 그런 거 머리 마시 면바도 담수 봐 메와 청소 들라테네 연든 또 기니와라 된 데키 정도래 판동 대화는 때로시겠다 진짜 рем보 직대 나오지 рем보 직대 나오지 배 님이 경고도 남과다 사용 좀 만바랑진 셀로 나오지 마리비 만바 소소리비 살라테네 니와도 토네 마시 면바도 셀리 용서 들라테네 등을 탐지 방식 나오지 서울시 받나오지 착그래 된자다 경지 셔보지 전라 지대가 소수 천년 딱 그치다 많이 봐 근데 지 된지가 많이 말길 기근데 나한테 많이 사바 남도지네 강시야 파시야 양지 첨부 근데 나오다 어느 상기 기담도 양하고 신국진 실급배로 된지 또 말이 소송원이 담는 수도 판토와 파출될 판토가 하고 이제라 유튜브 연던디야 공pe당하고 된지 삼동 그러지
Um, so the compassions actually, they're very the importance of the compassion. I think is very the essential and to have to put in our practice. For example, what I mentioned earlier is the teaching, the statements, and the realizations. So either or both, whenever you achieve this, the understanding of the statement as well as the gaining the realizations. So your next step will be of course, you will share this very wisdom or the knowledge to sentient beings, and the key is here is the compassions. We have to have a compassions whenever we engage any kind of activities such as sharing and spreading that very wisdom and knowledge, because the lack of compassions, of course, it will might trigger the negative mind, and it might there's risk that the ego, negative egos, and thinking of yourself, and also doing this for just for the fame and the so forth. So make sure that we are not fall into that negative minds, have just merely seeking for the name, as well as the pride and so forth, and have a compassions, and that way have a compassion plus the good motivations, as well as the genuine intentions toward others. So through that way, we can definitely able to the give and able to extend benefits as well as the happiness toward others. And they when the when the sunrise, the power of the sun, as soon as it rise, and it will kind of dispel the darkness. Similarly, then when we spread or spread the teachings of the Buddha statements and realizations, and of course it will diminish the very darkness of the sentient beings, the minds, negative minds or negative destructive minds, and the meanwhile like able to generate the positive minds.
다 냥지 들 냥지 쳔보세 냥지 세트 냥지 코르 코도다 망쳐 진 챙겨리나 등을 냈잖아 서 상도 주로 등을 땅 등이 지지 땅 저번에 있잖아 서 상도 들 냥지에서 냥지 쳔보세 등을 졌나 삼바마 삼마인 봐 등을 있자와데 닥치긴 세트 어떤 냥지 쳔보스 보라 다 될때 냥지 쳔보데 어떤 됐다
So compassions, of course, many of you know about the what is the compassion. Of course, in generally, to have a great the intentions that may great intention, and also the wish that may sentient being separate from the suffering. So that is we call the compassions. But what is the great compassions? Great compassion is the of course, first of all, have that great intentions toward the sentient beings. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. But not only that, great compassions. Additionally, they have I will, voluntarily, and I will take this all responsibility and all the burdens to on me. So that's we call the great compassions.
그래서 다 심지 담지 등을 쪼고 상고 수삼 등 등이 쪼 시행했으나 말아 니와 줘 봐. 니와 요는 때때 니와 용 것도 쓰레지나 니와 뭐도 공부 좀 상기 상기에서 소소기라 상기 니와 요. 때바 공패 땅내에 저바 무시 용모 담지 마 세월지 시월시 비 르바던 저네 원득기를 올서 다 손이 싸용 손이 손다 저바니 장고 저바니 무시와 뭐 손모에 총도 뭐 저이서 근데 돈이 시도보다 소소랑 그 돈도 좀 사오를 연기 돈도 줘발 니와 당다 맞고 진짜다 근데 감동이 왔는 시시했다 그래서 뒤져다 어디 땅한 원 벌써 상기게 심지 탐지 되게 능을 자 저와 지금 저와 등이 지금 뒤체 땅한 원 벌써 상기게 있는 시야데 땅 상지지 세면서야도 난 드시고 좀이 때 개발진은 옆으로 상지지 세면서 나 상지 공부 더 보시는데 와랑 찍고 등을 떠시고 때 말때 양 좀비 시고 또 많이 말씀지 탐지기도 등하고 벌써 다 성지기 성지가 가르쳤다 심지 탐지기도 성지 심지 등을 떠시기 뒤체 등하고 벌써 성지 삼못들라 네 상지 세면서 그래서
Um, so um, the so when we have this great compassions, uh, and what we the next step is the to dispel the sentient beings the suffering, meaning to dispel the suffering. Of course, the eliminate the sentient beings yeah, negative minds or destructive minds. And once they able to eliminate the destructive mind, then naturally we can able to generate the great wisdom realizations and the positive mind. And so through the very idea is that kind of great knowledge and wisdom or the realizations the Buddha have and the Buddha gain. And so I want to the who the that very kind of power and the knowledge and the wisdom who have that Buddha have. So the and that very knowledge and again and the sentient beings we can able to the eliminate and again the very attainments the freeing from the two obscurations. And once we free from the two obscurations, then we can definitely fulfill the oneself as well as the other wish, and through that way, and we can definitely the generate the bodhicitta. And for example, if practitioners who merely just seeking for their liberation, so that is the considered as the arhat higher arhats. But the practitioner who have a great intentions, the liberating sentient beings, I will take that responsibility, and I will the take all the hard worship in order to sentient beings liberate the samsara or the circle existence. So that is they consider as the Changchu Sempa, the great arhats, Bodhisattva.
그거라.
Yeah.
부딪히다지도 또 성지 섬세하죠. 섬세하다. 섬지 탐지도 등한 거 성지인 거다. 또 가르치는 섬지 탐지 등을 저지긴 성지고 임신도 통과다.
Yeah, so the reasons I engage this such practice for the sake of welfare of all sentient beings to free from suffering and the causes of suffering, and then for therefore I will take all responsibility, all the hard worship. So that is they call the practice of the bodhicitta and considered as a bodhisattva.
반들로 좋아서 용 거. 좋아 가는 거. 근데 저 섬지 탐지 성지 일단 성지 좀 된데 또 맛있게 또 섬지 탐지 성지 바로 와. 성지 선바에 나타난다. 섬지 탐지 등을 좀 좋다면도 와. 단데 등을 뭐보 아도 와. 좋았다 용해나. 어떻게 렌트 가려요지. 성지 좀 된데 그 리 넘버 받대 삼게 바래지. 리 넘버 받 삼게 또 소소랑이 그 가르즈나 드파마시면 등도 소소랑이 그 세고 니와 요래 니와 소소랑이라 요래 댄서다 손좀 등이 그런 그 등냈다 마시오트 라파가 렌트와이 면도스 스 치는 거 티니 저 보고 좀 나가는 딱 타와이 면도스 네 가르치니 땅이 친이 데바트 그 도르지르즈니 니 그런 나가는 그 깔리 잡지 장의 연든들이 장난들이 지난 톱근들다 아 톱치는 나가는 거 하고 롱이라 톱이니 내일부터 잠시다 연대도 섬서 이봐 때요 치에 대마다 미고 그래서 저런 때니 지선당니 로나가 도시 공방도 저런도 톱 그래 때니 심지 담직도 저기 근데 들을 때 알아서 좀 된데 담바지나 단다되고네 담바를 조금 좀 담바를 진짜 때 선지 좀 된데 그런 게 연대들이 때 아주 때 지선당 칼리기아나 안 소소 상지고 어터바게 니와 요한테 하고 그래.
Mm. Um, so when we think and talk about the power of the Buddha and the wisdoms and the power realizations that Buddha gained, and of course that we have been practicing, but sometimes we have a kind of out of curiosity, we saying that why and the sentient being still in samsara, and so if the Buddha the attend the enlightenments, and he who have great the power, and why still sentient beings are in samsara, and so Buddha replied that the sentient beings, the sentient beings, the karma, it's uh, the understandables or unspeakables, and so you have you have your own kind of strength, the power that you can use and the into your practice, and through that way you can able to liberate from the any the difficulties. And so that's why Buddha said the I cannot wash you all your sin, and nor I can lift you from the mud of samsara, and you have to do yourself, and like me at the beginning I was as you, and through the hard worship and practice, the again the extraordinary wisdom and the knowledge, and through that way I gained the Buddhahood. And so only I left in this world is the Dharma, that what is mentioned here, that the precious jewel, Dharma. And if you, what I left here, if you study and practice and try to gain the realization as much as you can, then you definitely, each one of us, we have a great potentials to attain the enlightenment. So that's the very important we have to understand.
빈순지나 걔는 미지그 자오다 미 도중 욕부지네 배 도중 탈신 받지네 니 도중도 정말 또 배도 정수 용받질라 이게 지가 무슨 뭐 받다더나 어때 정말 몸받다 새끼인 삼록 근데 땅에 그런 거 연든지 자동 토바이나 앞에다 파르천로 차이나 디디나 코들은 심지 담지도 또 삼록 땅에 심지 담지도 니와 자동 콜로 요 옛날 파쇼 로종 쟁근데 콜라 로종 셔바당 로종 맞지지 잠는 건장만 정지되나 파쇼 때는 니와도 용토고 맞고 파쇼 참아 로종 지기 시작되나 그저 참아 듣고 나서 차타하게 니와 요 대자다 선점도 되게 손들 다 좋은데 저런 거 로종 지난 니 도쿄도 결라 도그레스 또 남도 줘 대자다 랑이랑 그 고양이 랑이랑 그 다양 쇼때 담에 너무 되게 버렸어.
So it will be the example for example, if there's an individual from the village, and the village, all of the villagers are illiterate, and that individuals out of great compassions who go all who gone the all the study and educations, and they get the perfect knowledge and the wisdoms, and when he back to the village, of course he's like a Buddha, and he been or he studied all the knowledge, and what is the next is the as a the individual, that's now your the village responsibility to approach him or her, and to gain that knowledge from him or her. Otherwise, as a professor or knowledge, and none of them can kind of like go after them and kind of install the knowledge to other mind, but rather as a learner, and who have to approach that professor to gain that knowledge. So that's why at the conclude, Buddha said, he made the conclusions saying that you are your own master and you are your own enemy.
진짜 다 아니라게 수 뭐일 지키는 내가 지금 내가 진짜 나지 봐서 아니 공부가 아니 정말 아니 아니 지선당나 뭐랑 뭐일 찾던 좀 돈당 찾던 또 그래서 내가 저 시기였어 다가 쳤던
And I forget to translate earlier that when the knowledgeable person when he or she back to the village, and all the villagers kind of like ignore the persons and just wandering around and wasting their time. So none of them they gain the knowledge, right? So in order to gain the knowledge, they have to approach and study hard and rely on that master and so forth. The and also, for example, like Anila, of course, who also study the Western knowledge and philosophy, and when she go back to her nunnery, and if the nunnery don't pay attentions, and of course that those nuns wouldn't gain the great the Western knowledge, and of course if they pay attentions, of course they can study the tremendous knowledge from Anila.
근데 냥지세도 장아죠 냥지세도 다 등을 있잖아 선바데 냥지 현지 전부세도 등을 있다와 등이 지긴 선바데 등아 제와 뒤쳤던 거 오늘 좀 상지긴 세도 상지 셈세도 상지 셈 된데 이라키 소나 그냥 왕이 상지 셈바 쳤어 지마만이라 수들라 통나 대인 무슨 셈바 쳤어
Um, the so anyway, just the differences between the great intentions, such as the having a great wish that sentient beings separate from the suffering. So that is the general compassions, and not only that, just I will take a responsibility and so forth. So that's we call the great compassions, and the but having this all have wishing sentient beings free, this free and separate from suffering, and I will take the responsibility for the sake of all sentient beings, and for the very the sentient beings, freeing from suffering and the cause of suffering, attaining the liberations, and I will take this all responsibility. So that's is we call the bodhicitta or the bodhisattva.
괜찮다 등을 있잖아 선비 등을 때라 등을 쓰미오르지
And the free from suffering. So there are three kinds of suffering.
다 등을기 등을 등 알아서 남기 알아서 용진 바 땅아도 등을 렌진시에 나동 자동 저다 도바 만들고 강한 망부진도 같은 거 등을기 등들이지
So three kinds of suffering. The suffering of suffering. So which is the first suffering. So it is obvious, and also because we often have the discomfort such as the headache and so forth. So this is considered as a suffering of suffering.
이르위 등을 세야 돼 다 가서 야 얘랑 불랑드는 쪼동아 기분으로 저 쪼종마서나 랑고 마서나 로고 같은데 게 엄마 여기서 잡았던 걸 쓰는 건데 냐에 되기인데 랑에 되기인데 네 로되기인데 근데 잡았는데 뒤는 dem까지는 때도 다 잡았던 걸 써. 냐에 되기는 님선까지 냐고 냐나다 등이 거야. 로 랑에 되기는 같이 똑같이 랑데나 랑게 정도인데 랑도 뭐 등에 때저때 로징게 이루에 등에 세다 헛득을 냐다나 야 랑도 기본으로 야 랑주 먹나 야 등에 땡겨와 기로와 또 로징 온기와 로징 대화 많이 방으로 네그 대화를 통과할 때 로징 기로에 온 얘기로 자 아니 이루에 등에 시고스
And also the second the suffering of change. And so this is for example, of course, we experience day to day life, our daily life. For example, if we stand for a long period of time, we want to sit, on the chair or sit down. And when we sit too long, then we want to walk. So these are what we call the suffering of change, and because the naturally, and it isn't the happiness that we are seeking, and because it's a nature of the changeness of this of the happiness into the suffering. And so that's why the during the one of the king, he when he punished, so he asked the people, saying that you have three options, and you can choose whichever you like to pick. Either you have the first one is you have to sleep. Second is you have to stand, and third is you have to keep walking. So these are the three punishments that the individual can choose. Of course, uh, none of them are we kind of experience happiness. Seems like if we sleep, it might be easy, but if keep sleeping, then it might be difficult. Right? We want to stand up, we want to walk, or if we stand up, we want to sit down. If we keep walking, then we might tired and want to take rest and so forth. So this is considered as a second suffering of change.
일단 주로 차와드시 등은 차와드시 등은 뜻 갈까 올로 차와드시 등은 저도 삼동 아랑주 좀더 랑함에 봤다 끼와는 정도 봐 수익을 라파 끝끝 로다 맞다 비랑진 봤다 이러이랑진 봤다 신경 입등 지가 매봤다 저도 너무 대우로 고대우로 셔나 차와드시 등은 세트도 시리스 아랑주 ጭ등 아랑주 정말 처음부터 버렸다 아랑주 처음 끝끝 로다 대자는 뜻 아랑주 먼저 세트 랑을 제요 자, 딘디드 나노도 미치라 말 미창말로 캡다 버스. 코리나라 내가 강석이나 코리나라 딜칸라 딜라키면서 랑요 말들 기와레한테 소스 레사마 리팅 나마 로고인서 자반도 시드면서 버스.
And the last one is the pervasive suffering, and that one is the one of the suffering. If I give you example, of course, there's the very the detailed explanation. If I give you simple explanations of the pervasive suffering, it will be that as a sentient beings, with no control, and with no controls, we were changing, and we are moving and toward the last stage of our life, death. And so this is the we all have, as a sentient beings, as a human beings. And since we the came to this world, with the caused by the karmic actions, and with the no control, we came in, or we born into this world. So this we are bound to face this pervasive suffering. And so yeah, so this is the what you call the pervasive suffering.
对，这他我们这个谈到的，反正到我这边的，杨继些的搞起么的，他们搞起话3원当起巴的，把的搞起话7월当，然后的他们搞起话呢，就我们把当起巴的，是那个就是生活的跟那当不生活的，年不去那地方3원那3원的也讲的7월那的的相当多呢，嘛就没有我们的他们的就在的吧。제우 토용 그래서 진짜 아니 형지 당부 사원 더 봐. 형지 요나 가지고 형지 등을 리턴도 삼도 건 그러더니 인종 삼바도 jelek yang 그래서 우파트 칠레 당다고 tel라테네 소소들 정지와 니와도 전라판 도체 니와도 형지요나 미 정말 전라로 온제 니와도 요래서 진짜 아니 소소가 성스sem 길을 때리 니와 용 그래서 탐을 성지 송에나 성지 송나 형지면은 섬진 연두지한테 용 말해서 심지 연기 뜻이 벌써 봐 양지 굴고 뜻은 양지요다 되게 뜻 양지 세트 말로 ចិត្ត톡다 왔습니다 같이 와르지 토미에 수 교불라 같이 보러 와르지 선발라 같이 보러 타면 엄버서 성지송을 같이 보러 빌렌서 때 사원당 실렸던 저는 봤습니다 여러분들이 근데 오면 지금 단단 받는 나와 적이 지금 배쳐망하는 또반로 성질로 또바 잠배하는 또바 당 당부 귀신 사사들 저거는 오면 단 받는 나와 적고 당부 형질로 또 붙이었어요.
Mm. And so the compassions, it is indeed very important at the beginning, middle, and at the end of the our practice, and the great master Chandrapitri, he gave the example. Compassion is one of the most important at the beginning, middle, and at end. Like a planting a tree. You know, at the beginning, of course, it will be like a seed, like a seed. So the compassions is like a seed at the beginning, and at the second or in the middles, and of course, you have to provide all the necessities, the sources, the water, sun, and so forth. So again, compassion is like this in the middle, and also very important. But sorry, at the beginning, it's important, like having the great compassions to others. We definitely achieve the renunciations. So that's why compassion is very important at the beginning. In the middles, the when we taking care of the plants by providing all the necessary resources. Again, compassion is like this, and the when we have a compassion, then we will greater possibility to engage in the practice of the accumulations, the merits and wisdom and so forth, and through that way we can the attend or the gain the power of the bodhicitta. So this is in the middle. So at the last, again, compassion is also very important to when we at the end we will have the flourish tree with a full of fruits. Of course, at the end we can enjoy, we can share this other. Similarly, once we if we keep still keeping that compassions, again at the end, it also important that we can benefit other sentient beings once we have this all the wisdom and the knowledge. So that's why Chandrakirti stated and that he mentioned that the compassion is very important at the beginning, middle, and the last. And so that's why whenever Chandakiri composed the book, of course, the many master, whenever they compose the book, you will see at the beginning they will starting praising the Buddha and the Bodhisattva. But Chandakiri always press toward the compassionate one or the compassion practice.
또 저다 받은 나와 적배 아니 양지들라 잡으로 섬 진이 양지 검도 등을 리잖아 좀 등을 잡을 섬 시험 되게 다 보종 맞는 갈래 거기 되나 갈래 그 장나야 안 좋은 거 어떻게 시에서도 나게 됐다 가르치는 다시 당토나 또 총총 반동 성도다 경주도 배도 그라 다 당고 같이 달라시 지장 덕근데 징이다 착질 봐 소트진다랑 뭘 발로라 현지 당들한들 양지 동보대 곧 가르쳐주는 동보 양지 용서 등을 용상하러 등을 용서 조대 강의 용고도 그런다 이시고 양지 제때 동보 진짜 참마가 당진데 지내네 저등 아세 잔이 손도 요 말도 아주 풍부가 온들 딱비 딱쯤 가지고 아무도 때때 랑진 그 받던 그 풍부가 라 원지 징게 링을 랑지 징게 된데 가봤다 보죠 삼요 디 삼로 디 강년에 아세 때 다위 공 조정 텔라테니 아니 때tempo주는 때니 녜지니 너무가시 달라서 덕근도 징이라 착제와 다한테 녜리 녜 농줄 땅에 녜들 녜 야크 녜 무리스 다 참아 봐 먹고자 지장 거지 단 되는 책들 좀 덕근도 챙겨 찾지와 대지용도 차파티 왕도 돕기 아니 다 레상용 거 레상으로서 어느 정도 사사서 자와데 말이 받는다 당진 띠근이는 차파티 이런 거다 코로라기 알림 레상 사분도 다봉 들었더니 딱 저 정도 다 기와는 코로나 시스템 남을 왔던 기와는 거자 다 소치진다 항매 바이 전에네 다 오만의 양의 칠린들이 소화하는 것들이 방당 소화된 꼬라꼬라잖아 ချက်파송된데 꼬리 칠린 로지오서 뜨능전에 꼬라꼬라로 꼬라꼬라 꼬라꼬라지대 요르지 어때 된서다 로한 탐지 양지고 임증가르잖아 등을 용사가 싸워때 아 안진들와 당진들와 당진 싸워때 집당전에 덕돈 전에 손을 뜯듯이 요마르 뜯듯이 매발 요브르스네 데데고 데도는 양마지리 티 등을 정도 저 등을 들리잖아 서비 삼로데 당고 숨전는 양지 세르시
심지어
어
인지하고.
양지요 심신스 로르기 요라다
Yeah. So the compassions again, there are there are three kinds of compassions. I think for the maybe if you never study about the compassions, it might be a bit difficult to you to understand the. But anyway, maybe if I talk about these three compassions, like maybe you heard, oh, what this monk is saying. Maybe you have a kind of plant the seed of the three kinds of compassions. Later, it will kind of generate the great interest and understanding more toward the three kinds of compassions. And first of all, we have to know that the problem maker is the I, the sense of I, or yeah, I, and because of the I. So this talk about the cause, and because of I, and but anyway, basically anyway, the I actually. If we try to find and locate and try to find the I, there's no I we can locate and point other than the very combinations of the five aggregates, the body. And but we from the beginning this we kind of thinking that I is somewhere here and there, and thinking as a very established the permanence I. But the reality, it isn't. It's not there, and just merely the very combinations of the body or the five aggregates. But anyway, that I is the trouble, the maker, and the so when we have the first or with the thought of I, and that very I they cling to self, and then with the mind they grow attachments, very strong attachments. So when we grow the strong attachments, then we'll say it is mine, my people, my country, and so forth. And so because of that very the ignorance and so forth, we constantly the coming into this samsara and experience the endless suffering. And so that's why at the end, the we sentient beings wandering like the water, what do you call the water wheel, right? Water wheel, like a water wheel in India. During the ancient times, they when they collect the water, they use the water wheel. So this is kind of example. They use the we sentient beings keep kind of coming back like a water wheel.
그렇거든. 다때네 이와디 양지 시사들 다 칠라무 비냥지 동 뭐먹을 거 비냥지
Also,
냥지 이
so
총을
this is the local dollar song
그렇도
Master Chanta Kirti, this is the quote by the Master Chanta Kirti, and and this is the one of the compassions, one of the three the compassions, that is compassion called uh, the taking compassions as focus on sentient beings.
이거 로아유 치는 거 나왔어. 요 땅나지 이게 똥통아 이 로아는 지금 될라서. 다 로아유 치는 거 나왔더니 나도 치는 거 나와시라고서 아 그렇게 치는 거 나왔는데 나왔던 거 나와 요 방인진데 나와 오늘 삼나 삼 삼바나진 된지 정도 치는 거 나왔대요. 그 끝까지라 치녀만 돈 냠된 이러한테 비어다 치는 나요 받 딱반로 담반로 좀 제땅 알아서 직전되게 내일 잠때는 뭐 딱비랑 진짜 땅 알아서 딱바 담보 쓰습니다. 그래서 된사 안에 또 딱바인 바 딱바 뭐 맛이 딱바 담보 좀 요때 받는다 총통을 수다 양마지 단 똑같이 지금 시작으로 월때 땡은 단답에 쇼지 여러 뭐 삼동도 요새는 된다 들리는 게 담나서는 손은 공 소화된 거 된자 실람의 비행지죠. 뭐문을 봐 비행지세요. 요 땅랑지 이게 똥을 통하데 친낭나 요이 요왔다 나왔다 탑지 뜨나 되는 거니 또 디나 친낭 요월 요 말와 근데 땅 알아서 단다 땅 알아서 치는 거 왔다 나도 내가 통은 나진 알아서 미모치들라 직팅 샤서 탑지 원이 정도 지나 정말 진짜 딱돈 전에 손 치는 거 나왔다 치바레스 때는 좀 와서 남기다 와 치는 거서 치는 거 다위에서 그냥 사실 되는 거도 뭐그 통용으로 치는 나와 통거 그만도 치는 거 나와 오니 요 말와 어디 나중 아주 직등 샷이 탐지 때 뺐던 적 지바레 진짜 아니 덴버 마드 바레나 덴버 마드 장 때는 좀 와서 저 바인 차다 통 아주 덴버 좀다 그때 단양 맞지 싶다 머무 바마 비 형제 뭐 어떤 거는 머무 바 센터다 뭐 덴버 트 비 봤던 요 마드 아주 덴트 로 끄는 요런 좀 진짜 치는 거 나와 나제 페이지 요사데 치는 거 나와 연네 니 콘 들라 초왔던 아주 직등 미 이스텐드게 내 땅텔라 통용소 또 담지다 양지 이게 통했더니 듣는다 통했다 나와서 양지 보면 그렇지.
And so the second and third compassions and by the great master Chandra Kirti to have great compassion toward the sentient beings, and he quoted that um, uh, the just like a moon reflected in the rippling pond or the river, they see them waver, empty of inherent beings. So these two lines it mentions the second and third compassions. Second is the taking compassions focus on dharma, and the last is the compassions the focus. Um, so these are the three compassions. So when we look at that code, it kind of give us the understanding of the what the we have been the carrying the misunderstanding or the misconceptions toward the our life, like uh, the moon that reflected in a pound. But reality, we think as a real, but it isn't. It constantly kind of changes, and it's constantly changing. So this shows the that example that we as a sentient beings, we are the every momentarily we change, and the impermanence, but we have a misconceptions or misunderstanding that impermanent as a permanent, and we kind of plan our life thinking that we live very long like permanent beings, and so we always making planned, and but reality isn't. It is impermanence, constantly changing, constantly the moving toward the end of our life. So that's why the master has a great compassion toward those beings who have a very misunderstanding, that thinking we are as a permanent, like we think that the moon that reflected from the pond or the rivers. So that's why the master has a great compassion. So this is the second compassions, focus on the dharma, and the third compassions. Even though this that very moons, we kind of which constantly moving and changings. Uh, but that very moon is not there. When we look at the pond, we think that it is there, but the reality is not there. It's of course because of the moon. It's kind of because of the reflections it appear from the water, and then it will give this kind of a signal toward our the eye consciousness, the cognitive eyes, and where we can able to see that very reflections of the moon, and so we looked at very the image as a reality, and so this is an example. What is saying that we have there's a phenomena which is not exist exist by itself, or nor inherently exist, but we think as is it exists there. So this is the master has a great compassion toward the sentient beings having that kind of misunderstanding.
오야 가만 거 시도 곰 잡고 시랑 곰 때깔 다 보고 가서 아 대원도 받던 수도 가서 참아 대원도 방가 지발로 와 등만 동가 지발 때 지발서 때 초라 등가 동 동보는 니라 섬서 대화 동다나 서부 등은 듣잖아 삼바 때 샴단 나지 수소는 때 jan라 가게 전 참아 지발 샤와 대화 동 지발에 섬 때다 섬지 등 대화 동다 벌써 지 등은 다 잡을 수 있어 어떻게 가만 가시도 섬나 때 맞아 나 샴단 나지 이거 냠되고 샴바세 때 대화 동다나 섬도
Okay, so let's meditate for 10 minutes, and I want you to meditate on compassions, uh, compassions and the love. And so, what is the compassion? As I mentioned earlier, that wishing sentient beings free and separate from the suffering and the cause of suffering, and sentient beings also they never separate from joyful bliss. So this is we call the love. The first. You in order to generate that genuine compassions and love, first of all you have to generate within yourself. So that's why you have to first meditate this compassion's love toward you as a self, and then once you're able to generate, then you kind of face toward the sentient beings.
동부터 좋아던 거 소소 대화도 받는 것도 때 농진 참아 직발을 좀 직발에 삼는 렌용구나 나도 참아 좋아 동용용 거죠 섬지담 집도 어디 좋아 동용용을 썼더니 참아 아주 직발에서 섬지도 대화 동다 나든 섬은 그래서 몸다 안 생각한 영 그랬어 나도 간 영가 말은 그렇지 섬지담 집도 말은 강요서
Um, So I think it is very important to do kind of analytical the meditations, meaning you analyze and ask the questions yourself. Uh, do I want happiness and free from suffering? Of course, your reply definitely say yes. I want free from suffering and have happiness. And then next is that now you ask the same questions towards sentient beings. Do sentient beings want happiness and free from suffering like I do? Of course, they logically we understand that yeah, sentient beings have same wish to free from suffering and have happiness. So through that way, we understand that we are equally, want to be equally want to achieve the happiness and free from suffering. In a that way, we are equal. We are all same. And then why not? I just think sentient beings rather than just thinking myself. So through the analyzing and through the kind of asking questions and so forth, then definitely your mind will listen and obey to you. Otherwise, if you just say like, oh, sentient beings free from suffering and have love and so on and so forth, mind wouldn't obey because your mind will say, why I have to think about sentient beings. It's not my business. Why not I just cherish myself and benefiting myself and just neglect others? Yeah, it won't listen. But through the analytical and investigation, asking questions, and your mind will listen.
Ja, totally.
Um, you have any questions? Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much for teaching today. I have a question about pervasive suffering and practices that uh, that we can do to take that on the path and alleviate suffering. We've had in recent weeks there have been earthquakes and floods and additional war pockets of war that are popping up. And there are people all over the world who are suffering in horrible ways. And we've talked in the past about exchanging self with others. We talked about Tonglen. Um, are there additional practices or other insights that you could offer to help for those of us who are maybe far away from the places where the suffering is occurring, where we could offer relief and be a benefit to others?
Gana the sudla tuiche jani tiwa the chawa dushi shi and dunga laji ra di gani tiwa do chin sare ni tang zu di dunga di ta zo di chawa dushi dunga di ni da zamni yong la ni ne de wa da ni yong de wa den de la ni peshana ta da nge chara ni sangku jingye che an di gana da ni chara da ya ma chu de chung de sha da ga na shin ge ni sim je mo bo dunga na su yi de yong de de mo bu shi do an di la ni ngarang su di da nyam ning ki nam la do yi ton ne ni de sim je ki da dunga se ge che do ani mo la da zo de ko la ko do mo bu chi chi re pe shin na da di di 당신 염진세로 다 아니 다 데데 콜라 다 냠네 담엔 지게 니콜라 니 고드 모부치레 아니 마란주다 게르기 다 게르기스나라다 먼저 게기 토네 아니 수송문이 다 된줄라 아니 심진주 데 동화 모부냥 데 된들라 아니 카리지 펜토고 나스데 펜토나스도 수토니 펜토가 로지 penadang ta mongbuchi da di gola tudu mongbuchi zar da di pechna takshi nyamjin komya ro da tan ti gana shi mongbuchi sare di mayimba di kangla ni yang chik nyamne ni manzu di chiya ro chi di napshat de yonasi manzu ngoni chik pa shende ro di nyamling ta pa pentro yi shende ro ni tumina
차원 시 등을 세 코리랑 쓰시다. 코란이 맞던다 차원 시 등을 거예요 막. 나 단단 알아서 지금 가진도와 정화 트인도 아무 트게도 아니 등을 기든 거. 등을 기든 거 중앙서 등을 기든 거 코르스 등 알아서 좋아 랑징가는 정회 노바견이 지금 것들 아주 지특 배워로 지금. 같이 지스 요나는 될라마가 지스 같이 지스베나 될라마가 지스 아주 지특 배워서 다 답신도 쓰다 요 말했던 잡는 이나 엄마가 이제 나랑도 시시라 소트지네 엄마가 이제 시시라 뜻도 돼 나랑도 미그 조고 지로 조규 지로 나랑도 미 조규에서 때 나랑도 오늘 저 이게 거요지 이나 따데 미 소소 남망 조건 당성배다 남망 조건 같은 봐 샴당 양지 지고 야르지고 세 종도 파기를 공부 차도 근데 담무즈던 사이나 막아야던 미세에 당 특별자던 도시던 정정 때문에도 보충중 내정도 보충중도 참았던 근데 이 삼로 참았던 쇼란도다 망오나 갈래 가버렸어요. 진짜다 말랑도 지트와 때 말랑 소소랑이 그 칠라요비 소소랑이 그 섬시디조 이요나 요비 소소 보게 주는다 막아야 된다든지 곰시메와 소소디 쇼라파 야르 조정지 샴냥질라서 받들이 남나 치트와이나 장군 지기 무일 들어와 남는 시디 지용보다 또 동부 소소랑이 시디 조고래 랑이 시디 존이 시디 랑이 시디 조게 뜻다 잔라바 좀 미쳐 담바든 저 담바디 야 담바 동 담바 또 전화 미쳐만 섬시디 전화 남는 시디 차대요 그래서 근데 권수다 들지 고요 말이지 또마도다 처음에 시디 조랑아 깊은 조나 연 판벌 지나서 단 손자조 다 손자조인데 딱 막 가려져. 손자존의 당부 손자조 사교도 다시 동사 염소도 난관 당고 염소도 난관 당고 염소도 난관 트용 트용 당신은 종화 트로 종화 트용 줬더니 사지 매는 종화 던 잠도 보용 거 그때 미 차를 받다 미 전부 라버치 무슨 시기요 그러다 그 그런 좀 받당지는 하세요 됐다 뒤가 셔당 당 공부다 차도 당든지 왕 시키면서 der Tokio mal. Internet im Samut da so some times.
Um, so this that pervasive suffering is the it is the the inherent the suffering of the samsara. And but anyway, that's of course we often face all kinds of difficulties and which kind of disturb either our body and the mind. For example, there's the destructions made by the environments. And so that kind of destructions, this is out of our hand. We cannot do. And only we can do is to contemplate on the advice by the great one of the great master Shantideva. He quoted if you if there's a remedy, if you can fix it and there's a remedy, then why you worry? Just go ahead and fix it. But if you find that there's no remedy and beyond my capability, and again there's no benefit or to worry yourself, just ignore it. Or just keep moving, toward the other's possibility. So this is a what Santideva mentions, advice or give a great code. And but the second destruction, of course, we say the war and so forth. And so the war is actually it's involved all kinds of destructions, such as killing, and so forth. So this is all made by human beings, and the human as a human being, they have to they fix it, and they have to fix it. For example, in this nowadays, especially this century, when we say, oh, there is the great teachings of the wisdom and the advices, and then you will see the lesser few people, group of people will gather to listen the great advice and knowledge and wisdom. But when you announce that there is so much kind of entertainments going on, you will see the large group of people, to attend that entertainments. For example, nowadays people are more kind of engaging toward the unwholesome activities such as gaming and so on and so forth. You will see nowadays a lot of kind of high technicians gamings, about the killings others and so on and so forth. So this kind of being taught at a very young age and the killing and so on and so forth. So I think uh, and so the best way to to contribute others and help others, first of all, we as individuals, first of all we have to the generate the peaceful mind and the compassionate peaceful mind. And once we have that kind of genuine that once we establish that peaceful the mind, and then we can able to share that wisdom and knowledge toward others. His Holiness Dalai Lama often they mentions toward the numbers of audience. And first of all, you have to fix yourself, meaning that achieving the compassions and establish the peaceful mind and so on and so forth. Then you can share that very experience toward others, starting from the few numbers of people like a 10, and from the 10 will give to share to 100 and 100 to 1,000. So this is how we can build the better, harmonious, and peaceful world. Otherwise, if we just saying peaceful, it's not going to work. First of all, we have to start within ourselves. Then we can share others and expand that number. And so the and so but unfortunately we have a less we have a less those kind of people who do that such a wonderful service and so forth. But we will see that more people who are only thinking for themselves and defeat or the defeat others. And for example, we'll see in this world that there are so many that through the power and in each of the country, they use the very kind of damageable weapons that before they launch, before they use for the test, either say releasing in the oceans or in the sky. So when they do that, of course it will kind of disturb the mother nature, the oceans and the sky. So this is all the weapons we see nowadays. It's all made by the great the knowledgeable, well-known scientists. And those scientists, of course, they only just thinking for they made this out of the hatred and thinking for themselves.
오케이. 다른 거 가지고.
Yeah.
뭐 어쨌든
Okay, so
그래도
yeah, so the time is over. And,
대랑 가도 늦으시라. 그다음 가도 산도 동때 한 평소 갈 망데 자동으로 도전해. 내가 뭐 일팅 통해지. 근데 이 통도 산도 버튼으로 같이 붙는데 자메까지 프마트나 몰음 잡는 모른 거 사와드 람로 용어 소우시는 데 몰음 잡지.
Okay, so today the donation we collect, we will give to Anila to for her service and for her missions. And if you can make a donations, you can make any amount as you can. But if you cannot make any donations, again, just say the prayers and make a good wish to Anila to achieve her missions successfully. We'll say the dedications on page number 88. Sorry, page number 80, 80. Lo me ma re ye do do wa na ye ya ve wa bo na ji de ma zo be ze ro kun do ya Jame yanje zeve jesonge tambe reba gonzalanje yene rebe yana yeche ye je to be la ji she ra ze we zhang we dang ge zhou wei ye jie men ba sa xi Yahweh dang ba yu rong zhen zhen ba ren zhen chuo di ma jiao cha jiang yang ber zhe wei shou den 娘姐真不有了就把一旁的扫我前分手，我姐要为梦想成的。老州上就南街人北疆，他多南街也老本的是，亚维早把让的中之心。朗诵着别的节奏起，高兴随喜乐当我们，才若更多要为我帮。道南大正儿马刚子的把酒拉去酒，此人这那做把的些。的南街道的中心，大西洋从穷更强着街，把那早月老好人不见，告诉你个把你当成了。高真全部过年接送的，故送的节目这场的说， Chanjo semjo rembo che maji bana che jursi che wa nyamba me par yang kome kondo pewa sho kare rave kurve shankande pendant dewa mane jungwe Chere sewa tenzen yazo ye shabe sende pardo tenjur je jamba bao chetar chenpa da kundo sambo deyan dejende Deta kunje jesu damo jan Gewan de da tamje rabde Desa shabe yawa tamje je ngowa chodo ngaba le dajen sawa de gonja sambo choje rabdo ngowa je darshan je tenzin je wo tamje gogan Lujin Gula Deje Jongwene Sanje Denba Dado Jejuro Je Tsera Gondo Yawa Tsongkawe Tejo Jeyen Uzo Zabe Do Yawe Denye Le Keje Zamyando Maju